Welcome to day 4 of Vlogmas, and I am coming in today with a confession. 4 days in, I've had my first fail. So, December Daily is my annual photo taking project, documenting. Last year I made it to day 12, I think, and so I had a plan. I had what I thought was a solid plan. I procrastinated on it for a little while, and then I thought I needed to make a start. So I made a start. It didn't work. So before I get stuck into catching up, fixing the problem, and seeing if I can salvage this project, let's talk about plan A and where I started filming for that. So let's do a little rewind. I covered this album for my December Daily album, and this week I've actually just finished it. Like, going with a whole done is better than perfect. You can see kind of where I stopped last year, and then I've just stuck some photos in. Called it done, added this divider because I have all these pages left. So I've decided I'm going to use the same album for this year, and I have almost enough of these single sheets. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is do just like a 4x4 every day. And so on one side it'll be the 4x4, and then on this side it will be my Instax, because I'm also doing an Instax a day. And so I contemplated lots of options, but I was actually really inspired by these, by Ali Edwards. When I was looking for December Daily printables, I found these. So these are the 4x6 overlays from the 2017 collection. And I just love this handwritten, the handwritten numbers there, which I think are super cute. And because I have the ability to do it, I thought it would also be really nice if I had it in my handwriting. So I'm going to go through today and I'm going to handwrite all my labels. I like this bottom bit, but that also feels like a lot to do. But I will create those overlays, and then I can just use Photoshop to add it to my photos each day, print it at Harvey Norman as a 4x4, and then I can just stick it in here. And then on the interleaving pages, I can just put a bit of patterned paper there, stick my Instax on with a little bit of journaling, if I feel so inspired to add journaling. Otherwise, I'm just going to go with keeping it simple, getting the moments recorded, and getting them in my album. So let's grab my iPad and join me as I design my December Daily overlays. So I'll be using my favorite app on my iPad, Procreate. And so let's create a new canvas. I will just create a new custom canvas of 4 inches. So width, dots per inch is 300. Maximum layers doesn't really worry me. And so let's go create. I'm just going to do it just in black to keep it simple, because I can change the color in Photoshop afterwards. I'm going to use my favorite pen, which is the ET Monoweight. And I'm also going to go canvas and turn on the drawing guide, just to give me, I'm not going to be super fussy about having everything straight, but it just gives me a bit of a starting point. I'm going to turn my iPad this way. Okay. I like that last one a bit more. No, it's not quite. Zoom in a bit. Oh, and I'm out of battery. So after my iPad recharged, I kept going, playing with the lettering, playing with the pen size, playing with different pens, playing with different styles, and I could not make it work. I just wasn't happy with any of it. The originals that were my inspiration are like $4. So I'm calling this project a bust. I am, however, going to spend the $4 because I love the concept. So I'm going to spend the $4 and grab those. And I'm going to show you how I actually use these overlays and get them organized. So let's jump on the computer real quick. Okay, so these are the super cute overlays, and I've just actually looked at, and they're on sale, like $3. I wasn't making my own to try and save money. I was doing it to add customization. But at this point, if I don't get started with this, I'm not going to do it. So I'm just going to grab these really quickly. Hold please while I check out. So that ended up being like 30% off, which is pretty cool. So I'll just download those. And then I need to import the photos that I've already done. So I use Lightroom for my importing, my organization, or what passes for organization, and also my main editing. So just wait for this to read my memory card. I don't know if I've spoken about cameras previously, but I shoot with a Nikon D850, which uses an XQD card. So I've got a custom reader over there. I do love it because it does have Wi-Fi enabled. So with an app, I can actually just get the photos directly to my phone. So I know this is at the bottom, but this was actually the 1st of December. I missed that day because my camera was out of battery. So I've actually cheated and set it up to do. This was today. I took this one yesterday as well, so the 3rd. So I've actually taken 2. I took this one here and then this one. So I've actually got 4 photos there. But the photo I want to use for the 2nd is actually on my phone. So let's just import these ones to start with. All right, so let's quickly get these edited. I don't do a lot. I love, this is my like literal favorite preset. It's from One Willow Studios, who sadly are no longer in business because they make beautiful presets. Just a nice, crisp, clean preset. I'm just going to turn, actually going to go up, new gradient. There we go, that's better. So it just stops that from being too bright there. I don't want that to be really bright because then that's going to take over. So that will do for yesterday. I bought new baubles and she was actually getting her hands in the gaps and batting the baubles out of the box, which you can see there's baubles flipping everywhere. Even though we bought her this is her Christmas scratching box. It's a little house with a scratching pad in there. And no, she would much rather kick baubles all over the house. Okay, so with all those photos edited, I'm just going to select the edits there. I'm going to export them. So in photo we want a 6x4. So Harvey Norman do a 4x4 print, but it's 85 cents. This one, a 4x6, a regular 4x6 is 15 cents. So I'm just going to go here and going to change this. So fixed size, and I'm going to make that 4 inches by 4 inches and do that. And I'm going to go layer, so solid color. The color doesn't particularly matter for what I want to do. I'm just going to turn the opacity down and then I'm going to move this and put it right there in the middle, like that. So what I can do now is get my photos. I can just drop that photo in here. And so that comes up at a reasonable size to work with. Just rotate, hold the shift button, which means it gets a nice straight 90 degrees. Okay. And then I can go make it fit. I actually don't know. Okay, I'm done. And so what I'm actually going to do here now, put the color on the top so that this is going to be the bit that I'm going to trim down to. And so I've turned that back 90 degrees. This will print with white there, but that's fine. It'll give me the effect that I want. So now I'm going to go to my numbers and I'm going to find 1 and add it here. And it needs to go to on top of the photo like that. And I'm just going to drag it so that it's in place like that. That actually looks so cute. So then I will turn off that overlayer and file, export as a JPEG 2025, and I'm just going to save it to my documents folder because I'm just going to upload it from here. Okay, so then I can add So that's the fourth one done. And so I think today's lesson is to be a little bit mindful of the white space in my photos because I'm struggling to make the titles work in those spaces. But that is the 4 days done. I am now officially up to date and I'll do the weekend and then next week I will send them all off to print and then I can crop them and slip them straight in my album. And then as you can see, I've actually started here. I've also got my Instax. So I'm using digital papers that I've made in previous years. And I'm just sticking my Instax on there, sharpieing the date on there. And I have 3 more Instax photos to pop in. So that is where I'm up to with my December daily. Thank you for joining me for day 4 of Vlogmas. And I'll be back tomorrow with another video.